And then the last thing is revenue and banking segments. So not all advice is the same, right? So you wouldn't like, and just because someone wears the same jersey, like for example, bankers, right? Like banker is just a generic term, but like every banker doesn't do the same thing. So you would want to know how businesses are segmented, and how banks are segmented, so you can get the best advice for what your particular situation is as an entrepreneur. And again, that kind of comes down to your advisors, like, you know, the attorney, the accountant, the banker. But the way banks are broken down, it's basically, it kind of varies by bank, but basically it's 4 segments. It's consumer and community banking. That includes all your personal accounts and credit cards, mortgages, car loans. Small business banking actually falls under consumer and community banking. And the first thing you need to know is, like, most times in the industry, like in the business industry, like commercial, like in terms of a vendor selling to a business, like B2B, right? They consider any business less than $1 million a micro business. So technically, small business, when you hear that term thrown around, it's usually up to 10 million, give or take, right? But any business less than $1 million is considered a micro business. And just for reference, less than 1% of businesses make over 10 million. So most businesses fall under that small business bucket. But the difference is that depending on that revenue, where you fall between that 0 to 10 million, or even that 1 to 10 million, your level of product offering or your relationship management at a bank will vary. So you have a different level of service, products, opportunities to work with. So your goal theoretically as a business, and this is just abstract, everybody's different, but to graduate from that micro business into $1 million business or more. At that point, you start unlocking a lot more services, products, relationship. It's kind of like, this is like a superficial example, but it's like your revenue and your assets of your business is like, it's like the physical features of your business, right? So like the better they look, the more attention you get, right? And that's just how the game works. So if you are a $5 million business, you're going to be called on more, you're going to be sold more products, you're going to have more opportunities to do different things than you can if you're a $500,000 business. So knowing that is important. And then once you graduate over 10 million in revenue, then you fall into that next segment of banking. So that first segment is consumer community banking. Small business falls under there. You fall into like what's called like business banking, commercial banking, corporate banking. It's various terms. Different banks use different things, different thresholds. It's usually in a blanketed state, 10 million to, let's say, 2 billion, right? That's kind of the space generally of that. Business banking, commercial banking, corporate banking. The other 2 segments are investment banking and then asset wealth management. Investment banking deals with capital market transactions. Asset management is investing for high net worth individuals and funds. But your goal is to understand how these segments work so that as you graduate, you're able to take advantage of the different resources in the larger segments. For example, commercial real estate, that's within the business, commercial, and corporate banking segment. So that's where that would be housed. More complex treasury solutions fall in that segment as well, where you could do more automated or like digital transactions that can help your business be more efficient on a higher level and help you scale more. So that's kind of the totality of revenue and business segment and banking segmentation. Very high level, not trying to get too in the weeds of all of that, but the recap is really understanding, hey, micro business under $1 million, or just generally small business up to 10 million. How can I get to $1 million? Let me leverage my partners, my 3 advisors, my banker, my accountant, my attorney, see how I get there. And then once I get there, how can I leverage that to maybe use services in the investment bank, or maybe personally as I assume wealth and asset and wealth management, right? And you can use all these different parts of the bank. Folks wearing the same jersey, but doing different things for you as an individual or as a business, or both. Top 5, again, cash flow and financial statements, private equity and venture capital, lending, valuation and multiples, and the last one is revenue and business segments. So there's a lot more that goes into all of these different aspects. Again, it's really having your partners by your side so that you are not expected to be the expert in all of these different spaces, but you know these things, and you can have that confident conversation. If you're speaking with an investor, you're speaking with that potential partner, you're speaking with that vendor, that client, whoever your banker, right, or lender, it just equips you to be better prepared.